Episode 93. Omori isn't doing so well mentally after that last escapade. He's probably seeing things. Probably a good idea to take a load off with something that isn't so strenuous before getting back into the thick of it. Now what can we do in Gridania that's not stressful? I have an idea. Let's go crafting. It's a bit overdue, but we reached the next reputation ranking threshold with the XIV. Not today. Didn't quite get what I was looking for today. Maybe some other time. Well, I'm not going to sit around and wait forever. You've got crafting to do. Of course, that's not what this episode's going to be about. I'll just tack it onto the front, as usual. Try to get it done quick. Greetings, Komori. With the Ceruleum engine now integrated, the Desulqualan is entering the final stages of construction. Not long now. Not long at all. Once this airship is proven skyworthy, the field of aeronautics will never be the same again. There is, however, another favor I would ask of you. Are you familiar with Geralt, the master weaponsmith who resides in Hurstmill? Yeah, we know Geralt. He's the guy that taught us how to make books by smashing a hammer into an anvil. And now Komori boils water in an alembic or something to create books. We will have need of his legendary smithing talents if we are to complete our steering mechanism, the helm of the Desulqualan. Only he can properly combine and align the necessary components. Pray take these materials to Geralt, and request that he aid us in our endeavor. Geralt is the preeminent weaponsmith of this age. With his handiwork aboard, the Desulqualan will fly as straight as the truest blade. This guy has a pretty positive opinion of Geralt. Not sure how many people there are of that mindset. Is Geralt well respected by his peers? I know Rowena doesn't think too fondly of him. Or does she? Bloody hells. Ain't you supposed to be training with that toy I made for you? Off with you. Off with you. My head feels like a kettle with what some bastard's trying to pound the dents out of. Pay no mind to Master Geralt, good madam. His temper is as short as his night of carousing. His temper is as short as his night of carousing was long. Now, what do you have that needs mending? A kettle, a cookpot? Nothing of the sort? Well, if you don't mind dealing with an apprentice, I should be happy to hear the details of your request. Seems like Geralt's voice line here, dialogue line, changes depending on where you are, how far along you are in the quest for the relic. Of course, this quest... This quest for the Desulqualan and the XIV, I think would have been in 2.0, the base game, or maybe it came out during one of the patches. Then again, you start working with Geralt in 2.0, I believe, so it doesn't really matter. Can't really see him from here. Now then, madam, what manner of task has brought you to our humble forge? Ah, a custom-made helm to fit a new breed of airship. Tricky. I can understand why you would seek Master Geralt's expertise. Though he is first and foremost a forger of weapons, the masterpieces he creates demand a flair for innovation and an eye for the minutest of details. Should he turn his hand to crafting your vessel's helm, then I can promise you that the end result will be of unparalleled quality. As you have witnessed, however, the Master's present demeanor falls somewhere short of amenable. Beyond the dread of debt collection, there is little that will convince him to take up his hammer. Are you yourself not an artisan of some skill? Then allow me to suggest that you take a portion of these materials and make some batches of the finest protective varnish you can manage. The sight of such painstaking workmanship should serve to stir the embers of professional curiosity in Master Gerald's soul. Despite his grumbling, he is not one to back down from a challenge. Here I shall return your materials. Consider the tools at our meager workshop to be at your disposal. So we're not exactly on the level of Gerald, but we're on the level where we can convince him with our own artistry. Okay. Should be easy enough. I should have done the precise touch there. Technically, I shouldn't have precise touch unlocked, because that's a level, I think a beyond level 50 skill or something. Of course, there's no real cap to the leveling or anything like that. I'm just speaking in terms of the abilities that you would have for the level of quest you're taking on. And I'd say the XIV quests will only go up to level 50 or so. Maybe even lower than that. Like looking at this... It says level 18, but I'm pretty sure the XIV quests are more like level 40 or even higher, based on the delivery missions. Where was I? There we go. 792 quality points. Not that we needed it, but it's fun to see a big number sometimes. Are you impressed, Gerald? Not allowed to stand on this, huh? We can stand on this. Thank the gods. That drink demon Smitty stopped using my head as an anvil. Eh? Still bloody here, are you? I swear to the 7 hells. Feast your eyes on these babies. What's this then? Made these while I was trying not to puke on me apron, did you? Fine bit of work. I never paid you for an artisan. But even with this level of skill, you still felt the need to come to old Geralt, eh? So what's the job? You want me to take this handiwork of yours and make a steering mechanism for your flying boat, is that it? Alright, I'll do it. I know that fire in your eyes, and bugger me if I don't respect it. Might be as I'll need some time to get the work done, though. I don't fancy making finicky adjustments until the fog of booze is good and gone. Once I'm satisfied it's ready, though, I'll have the finished parts delivered to your shipyard. I think there are only a few more quests to take on for the XIV. My research was correct. After this rank up, only 2 more ranks to go through, 2 more bars to fill. Not that we're done with this quest quite yet. Komori, you're back. Master Geralt agreed to the task? Excellent, excellent. I can think of no other major barriers preventing us from completing the Desel Quolan. An airship? All blades are ready. All blades stand ready to begin with the extraction. Spare no mercy for these feathered savages. Squawk, who comes guarding into Sizzle's camp? Remember inviting armed thugs to breakfast, Sizzle does not. Save your indignation, Beastman. You'll roast for kidnapping. You'll roast for kidnapping Master Totaramu. Kidnapping? See you any shackles around his ankles? Free as a bird, Totaramu is. How did you even find me here? How many times must I tell you to leave me be? Enough of this petulant nonsense, Totaramu. Father? Father? Ah, chief of Highwind Skyways clan, you must be. This is the workshop for which you've caused so much fuss. There are no proper tools, no materials. Why, it barely qualifies as a dumping ground for our factory's refuse. What is it you wish to do, boy? If you want to tinker with airships, the company has them in abundance. I'll of course arrange for one of those new Garland Ironworks models to be docked in a spare hangar. No, father, you don't understand. This is not some game or idle pursuit. Squawk, call my campground for dumping refuse, do you? Shove cerulean hose up chairman's backside, Sizzle would. If already there, broomstick wasn't. Damn. What foul company you've been keeping. These birdmen obviously deceived you. Do you honestly believe such brutish creatures capable of building a functional airship? You are the ones guilty of deceit. The Ixal are the reason we were able to take to the skies in the first place. Why do you insist on hiding the truth? Are you so afraid of damaging the company's reputation? Or are you simply too proud to admit that we borrowed the knowledge of beastmen savages? Fear and pride can only weigh us down. Only by casting aside such ballast can we truly reach the heights of which we are capable. I'll not stand here and be lectured by my own child. Cease this impudence at once. Sir, we really must be away. There are those 2 items of business in Limsala Minsala that require your attention, followed by a dinner engagement with Councillor Thurston at the Coral Tower. Yes, we're almost done here. Bring my son. If he decides to struggle, there is no need to be overly gentle. A small dose of discipline will do him good. Father, you cannot do this. Please listen to me. Harm Totaramu, you will not. Stab you first with feathers, then pluck you, then roast you, Cecil will. I realized that I had the music turned off. Oops. Kind of undercut the emotional drama of that scene. But then again, I guess that's how it would be in real life, or how it would really be for these actual characters. There is no omnipresent music playing in the background for these people. So maybe this is more true to what Komoi and the rest of these people actually experience whenever there's any drama going down. Just an excuse on my part. Squawk. Gone Totoromu is. Taken. Strangled and stomped on, his dreams were. For the first time in Cecil's life, wish to harm featherless one Cecil does. Share with them secrets of balloons, and now they think they own skies, they do. Dezel Quillan stays grounded. Integrate final components, we cannot. Patience now. Wait and hope for Totoromu's return. Totoromu's return, we must. Occupy ourselves with crafting needed parts. But if Chairman sets foot into Ricardo 9's camp again, stuff into sack and beat bloody with tree branch, Cecil will. No change. Thanks to your diligent efforts, the Dezel Quillan now has a functional steering mechanism. Continue assisting the Akadal 9 to see the airship hybrid reach completion. And we've unlocked new reputation thing. Unfortunately, some of these can only be taken by gatherers or botanists. Very specific, unfortunately. Now I have 4 remaining allowances. I guess I can take the highest reputation giving ones, but of course I'll be doing that later. Let's see. Adventurer Squadron completed. Might as well visit Lenosia. I don't want to sit too long on the Adventurer Squadron being complete because I have to start up a new 18-hour quest for them. I don't think I'll be going very far into this, but I want to at least complete the tutorial. And I think this 1-hour mission that just completed is part of the tutorial. The squadron has returned from their deployment. Ready to look over the report, Commander. Looks like they've leveled up. Let's see here. The recruits appear to have carried out their task in a sufficiently competent manner. You'd be surprised at how many privates manage to lose their way on a simple patrol route. In any case, a small success like this will improve the unit's cohesion and help sharpen their individual skills. 2 more deployments with the sergeant. Each mission can only be done once per week. Resetting on Tuesday. Now let's talk training. Specialized instruction will improve the abilities of individual recruits, but its main purpose is to encourage the growth of the squadron as a whole. When you decide that the squadron skills could use some sharpening, check the regiment board for a list of available training courses. As much as I champion learning through doing, there are some things that need to be taught if the troops are to handle the tougher deployments. The more you bleed during training, the less you'll bleed on the field, as my old drill sergeant used to say. If you want this squadron to be the most elite unit in the Maelstrom, then we'd best not neglect their military education. Ready to begin the squadron's training, Commander? I think you'll find the course names are fairly self-explanatory. Training courses improve physical, mental, and tactical strengths, the 3 main stats. The focus varies between courses. Takes an hour to complete. Let's have a look. Our tank, of course, is mainly physical. I don't remember what the heart was. Spiritual? Magical? Something. And that's the healer stat. And then tactical, I guess, is DPS. I believe. Fairly straightforward. Now, there's only a certain amount of points you can give people, as in a limit to the bonus you can give. You couldn't train in physical all the way up to the maximum bonus, and then train in mental and get that to the maximum. I believe this is dictated by the squadron attributes or something. I wanted to look at any missions we might have, because missions are, of course, would dictate the amount of stats that you need, the minimum. I guess we'll just train them in everything, or no? Wait. For some reason this wouldn't give us anything. I don't exactly remember how this works, so let's just go with physical. Buff up the tank. I guess we're going to have to wait an hour. The fun thing about this is that whenever you give them a training course, they actually do some motions to mimic what kind of training you gave them. Since it's physical, they're doing squats. If I did mental, they'd maybe be reading some books around the room. And tactical, I don't know, having conversations, training against the dummies, not exactly sure. Chores done. Let's get to the real reason we're here. Well, not here. We are headed back to Mordona. Komori's had enough training to going through these dungeons she hears rumors about. I think she's ready to head back into the Crystal Tower. Where did we last leave off? I think we were waiting on word from Graha and the rest of the team at Noah, or the Sons of St. Koinak, or whatever they're called. for some news. Let's say that while she was training up her gang, she received a call via Link Pearl that there was a new development. Ah, 'tis you, my friend. You are doubtless eager to hear of our progress on the Crystal Tower. Excellent. I'd be disappointed to hear otherwise. Of course, disappointed is the word of the day, I fear. I'm ashamed to say that there is nothing worthwhile to report. Really? What about that fake Link Pearl call that I pretended to get? Are you saying that was a scam call? Just a little prank by Graha? Just wanted to see my beautiful face, did you? Is that it? No. The suns continue to probe the labyrinth of the ancients, and every day bring new discoveries. Alas, the same cannot be said of the Crystal Tower proper. We've not been able to set so much as a single foot inside it. You'll recall how the 8 sentinels stood between us and the labyrinth initially. In like manner, the entryway into the principal spire, Circus Tower. Circus Tower? I don't actually know. I think it's Circus. But I'm going to say Circus. Circus Tower, the Allagans called it, is also protected by technology far more advanced than our own. Sid and I have tried every trick we know, but without success. Frankly speaking, we're at a loss. It is discouraging, but we cannot give up. There must be a way in. And so the situation stands, my friend. Until we gain entry into the tower, I fear your talents shan't avail us. It will require time that I am loath to waste, but I have a mind to set my people to scouring such ancient texts as we have on hand. Perhaps we can be of assistance. And you are? Be at ease, friends, for we share the self-same goal. I am Une, and my companion is called Doga. We are scholars of the Allagan civilization, sent by the students of Maldesian to assist in your endeavor. Une and Doga, rather unusual names for this day and age, if I might be forgiven for observing, but I digress. You claim to be here at the students' behest, but we have received nary a word of your coming. Moreover, in light of the recent incident at the Isle of Val, I should think that they have rather more pressing concerns. We can only assume that the message failed to reach you due to some mishap. I assure you that we are here to help. What is it, Graha? 'Tis nothing. There was a pain, but it has subsided. Well, this is rather unexpected. Your right eye is the same as ours. The same? You have the Allagan eye as well. This sanguine hue is said to be a trait unique to the Allagans, yet I inherited it from my father, as he did his. Only one child in a single generation is born with the eye. All my life, I have sought to learn the truth of its manifestation. If there is aught to know, I implore you to tell me. My deepest apologies, but we have no answers for you. Only one thing is certain. Those who possess the trait are bound by fate to Alec. As your eye has placed you upon the path you walk, so too have we come here to fulfill our destiny. Absurd though it may sound, it is the truth. It seems, to me, we have not to lose by accepting their aid. What say you? If that is your wish, then so be it. Yet know that I still mean to verify your story with the students of Baldessian when I am able. I trust there will be no objections. Very well. As of this moment, I name Une and Doga advisory members of NOAA. Without further ado, let us have them examine the Circus Tower entrance. I promise you will not have cause to regret your decision. Komoy, I should be much obliged if you were to accompany our new friends to the tower. Biggs and Wedge are presently surveying the 8 sentinels. The 2 of them can show you the way. Upon arrival, pray report to Master Garland. He will brief you on the situation. I shall join you, Komoy, with Une and Doga's approval, along with your uncanny knack for setting events in motion. I am hope that we will finally see progress. Is that why you called me over? Even though there was no progress to be found, my uncanny knack for setting things in motion. No, of course not. There was no link pearl conversation. I just like to pretend there is. Otherwise, Komori's just wandering about finding people at random, somehow sensing that they have quests for her or something like that. Doesn't really make sense. I guess you could call it the adventurer sense, showing up at perfectly the right time every time. We're examining the rubble in the hopes that it'll yield a clue to entering the Circus Tower. Can you tell that we're getting desperate? Well, if it isn't Komoy, eager to enter a Circus Tower and kill everything in sight, no doubt. As I'm sure you've already heard, though, the place is locked up tight as a clam. New friends from the students, you say? Excellent. It's been slow going, or rather, no going, for the chief. He'll appreciate the help. If you'll just follow me, I'll take you to him. Some old faces to lift the spirit, and a couple of new ones besides. Allow me to introduce Une and Doga. They are scholars of ancient Allag, sent here by our friends of Baldessian to aid in the investigation. We understand you're having trouble circumventing the tower's defenses. It is our hope that we can be of some small assistance. If your tires ought to go by, then your assistance should prove invaluable indeed. To begin with, let me tell you where we stand. Beyond rises Circus Tower, the principal spire of the structure collectively known as the Crystal Tower. Actually, I always wondered, I forgot about this, what's the difference between Circus Tower and Crystal Tower? I guess it's the main spire inside Crystal Tower. The only way to get inside is through the proverbial front door, the imposing gate you see here. The problem is we can't get it to open. It's sealed by some mechanism, whose workings are an utter mystery to us. Having had no success via more orthodox methods, I went at it with everything from a pickaxe to a Magitech cannon. Nothing so much as put a scratch on it. For a blessing, the gate doesn't try to reduce us to ashes, like the 8 sentinels, but that doesn't make it any less effective a security measure. It's fiendishly frustrating in its simplicity. The only clue we have is the elaborate device carved upon it. A man and a woman, respectively. Respected. Allagan royalty, by my judgment. Precisely who these individuals were, we cannot say, nor do we know whether the device actually serves a purpose. Like as not, it's purely decorative. If you're thinking to force it, save your strengths. It's no use. Just ask the calluses on my hand. Rest assured, we do not mean to waste our strengths. Indeed, why should we exert ourselves when the gate will open of its own accord? I don't think any of us expected that to happen. Seven hells, what is this? What did you do? What are you? Piercing the heavens and gathering the light, a symbol of mankind's glory and might. Its virtue guarded by gates impregnable, only to those of royal blood answerable. Exactly as passed down through legend, I am delighted to see. I beg pardons for interrupting your bewilderment. I couldn't help but notice the remarkable playthings you have acquired. Nero, you're still alive? Garland, if I didn't know better, I would say you weren't happy to see me. But I jest. In light of our recent meetings, you have every right to be wary. But rest assured, I am no longer a threat to you. My legion is for all intents and purposes defunct, and my association with it means a tight noose awaits me back in Garlemald. And so I've been roaming this land of Eosia, a regular itinerant. In the course of my wanderings, I chanced to catch wind of your latest venture. It sounded positively fascinating, and so I decided to come here and join you. After the wrongs you've committed, you think us that gullible? If you are suspicious of my intent, 'tis only my just deserts. But I am determined to make amends. As a gesture of goodwill, I will share with you what I know, starting with these two odd characters. As you are doubtless already aware, the Crystal Tower was the symbol of ancient Allag's might and prosperity. Entry was permitted only to royalty and a select few individuals. According to the records I've unearthed, only royal blood can open the gate. In other words, the Emperor and his progeny were living keys. You mean to say that these two are descended from Allagan royalty? Oh, I suggest nothing so glamorous. To put it plain, they are imitations of royalty, living keys born of Allagan ingenuity. Clones, I believe, is the name your creators gave your kind. Is that not so? It would seem that the time for concealment is past. Pray accept our apologies. It was not our intent to deceive. We simply wish to avoid causing undue alarm by prematurely making what many would consider deranged claims. If it please you, let us return to the 8 Sentinels. There is much and more to tell. Very well. Seven hells. Do you seriously mean to follow us around? Come, Garland. You know better than me than to think that I spoke in jest. What more will it take for us to be reconciled? A gift, perhaps? An Allagan tombstone. It holds the information I just shared with you, and a deal more besides. It used to be the jealously guarded property of the 14th Legion, but now it's yours. I wish you the joy of it. I look forward to working together, old friend. Quite a lot to digest there, not the least of which Nero just waltzing in out of nowhere. Of course, we already saw him, but the main thing is that he's becoming one of us, just after that cutscene. He was our enemy, we fought him, in the Praetorium as a boss. And of course he disappeared after that, but he's kind of like an enemy, right? A Garlean. He says he's part of them no longer, but that didn't erase all the war crimes he did. Although I guess they're technically not war crimes, they're just things that people do at war. War crimes are more serious, I guess. We may not have gotten off to the best of starts, but the past is in the past. Yesterday's enemies can be today's friends. Do you not agree, Warrior of Light? I guess Komori isn't too trusting of the guy. But it's not like she's gonna turn him away. Troublemakers fit in. To think that the Allagans could make copies of people. If this knowledge were to fall into the wrong hands, the world would become a terrible place. I should shudder to imagine a dozen days, shouting at me all day long. Yes, the clones. Another thing that was just kind of dropped on us in the middle of that cutscene. We only just met Une and Doga. Like one cutscene ago. They waltzed in out of nowhere, and now we know they're clones. Actually, I think this quest might have been longer in the original iteration. This might have been also something you had to do a bunch of fates for, like you had to do with these walls or something back in the day. Or I could be making that up. It could just be that all along Une and Doga were clones since cutscene 2. Dropped very early on. Just feels like there was no fanfare for it. The Chief and Nero go all the way back to the Magitech Academy. It's an exclusive school situated in the capital, reserved for the Empire's brightest fleet. I don't know the nitty-gritty details, but they didn't get along back then, and they don't get along now. Fate's a bastard for bringing them together again. It goes without saying that Nero can't be trusted. We do well to keep an eye on him at all times. Let us hear what Une and Doga have to say. It will not be too late to decide upon a course of action afterwards. You have the right, every right, to mistrust us, but I beg you to hear us out. Long have we waited for this opportunity to fulfill our life's purpose. If you are ready to listen, we shall tell you all. As it pertains closely to your investigation, your leader Rambros may wish to be present. Before we begin, pray allow me to apologize again. It was not our intent to deceive you. As you have already gathered, we are not scholars sent by the students of Maldesian. Nay, we are clones. Copies of people who once existed, given life through Allagan technology. So yeah, that lie about the students of Maldesian feels like that was too quick. Like they only told us they were the students one cutscene ago. There was probably something in between these, right? I'm almost certain of it. But it's gone now, so it doesn't matter. This is rather a lot to take in. And if it would not be considered unseemly, might I ask why you and yours were created? And more specifically, what is it that you now seek to do? Answering your questions requires that we revisit Allagan history. Pray bear with us. The Allagan Empire reached its zenith long before our kind came into being. In that glorious age, the Crystal Tower stood tall as the symbol of Allagan pride. Parents took their children there, that they might learn how the nigh limitless energy it produced brought prosperity to the whole empire. That prosperity, however, bred decadence, and the empire began to show signs of stagnation. The decline was made all the more rapid for want of strong leadership. I actually never noticed that you can see some structures on the tower there. I always thought the tower was just kind of a mass of crystal, but you can see some gold architecture on two little outcroppings. In a matter of generations, the Allagan civilization became a pale shadow of its former self. Its once gleaming cities fell into despair, and its frontier lands were given over to the wilderness. Lamenting the pitiful state of affairs, one technologist made it his mission to restore Allag to greatness. Amon was his name, and he believed that the ailing empire wanted for but a potent ruler, and none was more potent than its founding father, whom he sought to resurrect. The founding father? You cannot mean Emperor Zandi. None other. As part of his experiments, Amon created clones of the Emperor's descendants. We are the products of that experiment, copies of Une and Doga. Historical texts mention the reigns of two Allagan emperors named Zandi. It was commonly believed that the second was the namesake of the first. After all, such a custom is not uncommon among royalty and commoners alike. To think that the two were, in fact, one and the same. Zandi returned from the grave and assumed his throne once more. And true to Amon's prediction, the Emperor restored his realm to the glory it once knew. Would that he could have been satisfied with that. In his previous life, the Emperor desired to bring the entire world under Allagan dominion, an ambition that ultimately went unfulfilled. Having been granted a second chance, He was determined to succeed. Realizing that he needed more power to wage his war of contest, Xandi turned his sights towards a forbidden source, darkness. In order to learn how to harness this power, he converted the Crystal Tower into a restricted research facility. Darkness? Again? Seven hells! What is it with megalomaniacal rulers and turning to darkness in their lust for power? Well, at least this one won't be bothering us, being thousands of years dead and all. Would that you were right, Master Garland. Alas, Emperor Xandi is very much alive. Within Circus Tower he still abides, his ambition burning all the more ardently for his empire's collapse. Wielding the power of darkness requires prodigious amounts of energy. Energy that not even the Crystal Tower could produce. In order to augment the shortfall, Dalamud was created and launched into the heavens. On high it hung, gathering the sun's energy and channeling it to the tower below. However, a miscalculation resulted in a surge of energy that escaped into the land. This triggered an earthquake of unprecedented violence, the calamity that ushered in the Force Umbral Era. In the blinking of an eye, the mighty Allagan Empire was laid to waste. Yet even as the Crystal Tower was sinking into the earth, the technologist Amon, now Emperor Xandi's closest aide, invoked powerful magics and halted the flow of time. Every soul within the structure, the Emperor included, was placed in a deep slumber. In that state, they were to maintain until the time was ripe to awaken. Eras came and went. After millennia lying dormant, Dalamud was summoned back to the earth. Its descent triggered the seventh umbral calamity, in the wake of which the Crystal Tower re-emerged. At that moment, Emperor Xandi awakened. In his lust for power, the Emperor consorted with darkness and was seduced by its corrupting influence. Even though his empire is now little more than a fading memory, he will stop at nothing to see his ambition realized. "'Tis for no other purpose but to put an end to Xandi's madness that we exist. This is the mantle we have inherited from our namesakes, the true Une and Doga. Fearing what might befall the world, the two of them sought to thwart their emperor. They gave unto us their will, that we might carry on their mission should they fail. When we came to our senses within the Crystal Tower, we deliberated a course of action. Concluding that we alone could not overcome Xandi, we struck out to find a worthy ally. It has taken years, but our search is finally over. I thought the Crystal Tower only emerged recently. No, wait. That wouldn't have been the 7th Astral Era when it emerged. It's been in the landscape since 5 years ago, hasn't it? Ever since the Battle of Cartano and everything. Right. So that's when they've been wandering around. Or when they started. 'Tis no ordinary woman who can cut a path through the labyrinth of the ancients. With you as our champion, Go Mori Moriko, we are confident that we can end Zandy's dark ambition once and for all. Well, that'll teach me for speaking too soon. Setting my chagrin aside, I see now why you knew about the students of Baldessian, among a host of other things. You were observing our investigation the whole time. So what will we do, Komoi? The world's in grave danger again, and it just so happened you're an expert at saving it. You have our eternal gratitude. Together, let us see the Allagan Empire's dark past laid to rest. It has been our mission to recover the long-lost knowledge of the Allagan civilization. But what worth is that knowledge if it means subjecting the realm to peril? Truth be told, it pains me to think that the tower's secrets may become lost to us. But the greater good must ever come first. Besides, no quantity of ancient relics can compare to our friends Une and Doga, living, breathing Allagans. And so I hereby declare a change in Noah's objective. Henceforth, we shall direct all efforts towards sealing off Circus Tower. Its dark secrets must never know the light of day. Komoi, as you did for us within the Labyrinth of Ancients, I would have you enter the structure and eliminate hostile elements. Suffice it to say, this includes Emperor Zandy himself. Meanwhile, the rest of us shall examine ways to isolate Circus Tower from the outside world. To work then. Wait, there's something I must know. My right eye is like yours. Does this mean? You inherited the trait from your father, you said. Know that clones are unable to bear offspring. You have no cause for concern. The Allagan Eye, you called it, but to us, it is the Royal Eye, owing to the fact that the trait manifests only in those possessed of royal blood. I cannot well explain why the eye runs in your line, but I am disinclined to think it was a coincidence. Though you are doubtless impatient to learn the truth, pray have patience. All will be revealed in due time. Within Circus Tower, you will encounter clones who share our appearance. Though they too were created in the image of Doga and Une, they are but empty husks, bereft of independent will. Their sole purpose is to eliminate intruders. Are you not just saying that to make us feel better about killing them? Striking down the spitting images of Une and myself may give you pause, but you must not let that stay your hand. Don't worry, we won't hesitate, even if you didn't tell us. Though their names do not appear to have survived the passages of time, Doga and Une were worthy individuals. They were not without faults, but they placed the welfare of the people above all else. When Xandi was resurrected, they supported his second ascension to the throne, in hopes that the Empire would flourish once more under his leadership. When it came to light that Xandi was consorting with dark powers, they did all within their power to stop him. Among their many acts, they imbued us, 2 humble clones, with their will. My apologies if I've given you cause to worry. I'm quite well, I assure you. As you can appreciate, there has been much for me to think on. But now is the time for action, not idle thoughts. Circus Tower awaits us. Your task is to eliminate all hostile elements within the structure, Xandi himself included. This will afford us the chance to seal off the facility. May the crystal grant you strength. And of course, we'll do the actual raid next time. For now, we'll just stare off into the distance, thinking about the monumental undertaking to come, while we take a break.